What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. Don't forget as well, please, to like and share the videos. Thank you to everyone that continues to do that and everyone that has done that. You can also support the channel as well. I do have a Patreon account. The link is in the description. All right, let's do this. A day late, but we're still going to get it done. This week in boxing episode, I have absolutely no idea. I just realized that I didn't do a This Week in Boxing last week. I was on my way back from Saudi Arabia. I should have done it on Monday, but we didn't do it. Do we need to go through any of the stuff from last week? Don't know, do we? All right, let's quickly check out the results anyway. Why not, eh? Why not? Anthony Joshua got his belts back against Andy Ruiz. Scorecards 118, 110, and 119, 109. Hunter Povetkin was a draw. Good fight, by the way. I love that fight. I said that fight. What did I say? I said that fight was going to be fight of the night. And it was. It was a great fight. I thought Hunter started well. Povetkin definitely had the better of the middle rounds. There was a time when I thought Povetkin was going to get rid of him. I don't know why I was scared. I was screaming, come on, Hunter. Because I do like Michael Hunter. But then Hunter came on in the last 2 or 3 rounds. So I think a draw is fair. Dylan White beat Marius Vac. Didn't look great, did he? Let's be honest, 271 pounds. But yeah, look, you got the win. That's the most important thing. As they say, Hrgovic stopped Molina in 3 rounds. Could have been 1. Could have stopped him in the first round. Hrgovic is dangerous, dangerous. That's a guy that is, I think, floating around number 15, but could easily beat anyone from 15 to 5. I'm not quite sure if I think he can beat Joshua, Fury, Wilder, those guys, but anyone else certainly could. Majidov stopped Tom Little in 3. Tom Little was brave, but Majidov looked good. Looked a bit stiff. I thought he looked a bit stiff and very kind of robot-like, but then got the job done. And he might be dangerous as well. Obviously, we know about his amateur record. Very, very solid and good amateur record. Beat AJ. They keep telling us that. So let's see what happens with him next. Wins on the card as well for Hopi Price and for Pacheco. Pacheco must be buzzing. I mean, he went on the fight before AJ Ruiz, right? So that means everyone is tuned in, and this guy got a chance to fight just before that fight. I mean, he must be buzzing. All right, to America, and sorry, we are going to get to the new stuff, but just to quickly run back over these. Jamal Charlo beat Dennis Hogan, stopped him in the 7th round. Retains his WBC strap, and Chris Eubank Jr. Was on that card as well. He lost the first round against Korobov, but then obviously the shoulder injury, so he retains his WBA, or wins, I think, the WBA 160-pound regular whatever belt he's got, or interim or something like that. We should get to see Charlo versus Eubank Jr., but I do wonder if that fight will happen now because of how that fight ended. Canada, David Lemieux got dropped twice. With a split decision win over Maxim Bursak. If you get a split decision win in your hometown without even watching the fight, I know you've lost. I know you've lost. That was his first fight at 168. He might go back down to 160. There was a heavyweight on that card. I'm not quite sure what his name is, but he beat Samuel Peter. I think there's a little highlight reel of this guy going round. Fucking ferocious. Ferocious. All right, I think that's all the results. Yeah, it's all the results. Some news last week. I spoke to Lawrence Okoli, who did confirm that he will fight Glowacki, but he also said in that interview when I spoke to him that there's a likelihood of that fight happening in America, so not the UK or Europe, which is interesting. So I'm guessing it might go on a DAZN card. I'm not quite sure if it headlines a card. Is it a big enough fight to headline a DAZN card in America? A Brit, and what's Glowacki? Is he Polish? There's a big Polish community. If he is Polish, I'm not quite sure, but we'll see. This news obviously broke last week. Dylan White and UCAD. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it. There's so many conspiracy theories about that shit, but we're not going to get into it. All right, let's talk about the fights. I'll give you the fight results from the weekend. Terence Crawford beat Kavaliauskas in round 9. Good little fight that one was. Terence Crawford obviously moves to 36-0, defends his WBO welterweight strap. Who next? We do not know. Teofimo Lopez beat Richard Comey. Statement. That's what I called it on that YouTube video I done. Statement to knock out Richard Comey in the 2nd round. Teofimo Lopez has arrived, people. George Kambosos, is that his name? Got a split decision win over Mickey Bay. I don't know about that. I thought Mickey Bay won that one, if I'm honest with you. He's been so inactive, Mickey Bay. I think he had one fight in 2018. This was his first fight in 2019, I believe. And look, he's fighting in December. No fights in 2017. I think one fight in 2016. Or so, inactive. But fingers crossed he can start to get some more fights and become more active. Michael Conlon beat nicked in by unanimous decision. So he's got this WBO Intercontinental Featherweight strap. I do want to see him against Ruben Villa. I spoke to Sam Garcia, Ruben Villa's trainer, and they want that fight as well. So fingers crossed that can happen. Some other fights on that card, some unbeaten kids. Julian Rodriguez continues. He got his win. Jorge Vargas, I think, is he unbeaten or has he lost one? But he got a win as well. There's so many fights around the world. We're not going to go through all of them. There's so many, like ridiculous. Like Golden Boy had a card as well. Virgil Ortiz was on that card, beat Brad Solomon. Ivan Mendy had a fight. I don't know if you guys remember Ivan Mendy, veteran lightweight who beat Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell did avenge that one, but he got a win. He's got the WBA gold title now. Dan Aziz fought on that MTK Golden Contract card. He beat Lawrence Osweko by unanimous decision, so he's now the English light heavyweight champion. By the way, light heavyweight is probably the most stacked division in the UK. When you think of all the divisions, light heavyweight is stacked. I think there's a decent British title fight between, could be wrong, but I think Craig Richards versus someone. Mick Hennessy won the purse bids for it. It's coming up, so it's probably going to be your call. The MTK Golden Contract results. Hosea Burton beat Bob Ajisaf. Serge Michael beat Tommy Philbin. Richard Bolotniks beat Stephen Ward. And Liam Conroy beat Andre Sterling. All those guys go forward to the semi-finals. I'm not quite sure when that takes place. All right, some news. Where can we start? There's not much news, but I guess let's start with the big one. I've done a video about it. It should be up now. Tyson Fury has split with Ben Davison. That has come as somewhat of a shock. Maybe not to boxing insiders, but to me that don't know what goes on behind the scenes, that is shock. Oh, sorry, it is a shock. They're unbeaten as a pair. And they do seem like good friends outside of like boxing in general. They seem like pals. So I am pals. So I am shocked that has happened. Tyson Fury will link up with what's this guy's name again? Sugar Hill Stewart, Manny Stewart's nephew. They have worked with each other, I think, or maybe not worked with each other, but they do know each other from the time when Tyson Fury spent, I think, a training camp with Manny Stewart back in 2010. So there is a relationship there. But yeah, that's what's happened. Surprised by that. Mikey Garcia has signed with DAZN. I do think I read that it's a one-fight deal, and he's going to get paid somewhere in the region of $7 million. Is it worth it? I just don't know. I mean, I guess he's a draw or something. Like, it's all about sign-ups for them, and Mikey maybe brings that sort of, I don't know, Mexican market that Canelo's got as well. Maybe they're talking about a fight with Jesse Vargas. It will be at 147, although Jesse Vargas has fought, I think it's fought at a catch weight of 150 or something. So that's an interesting fight between those two. It's a good fight. It will headline, obviously. I think they're looking at February as a possible date. So, look, good signing for DAZN. It is a one-fight deal. Obviously, Mikey wanted the Manny Pacquiao fight. He's obviously been told he's not getting that fight, hence why he's taken this. You can't blame him, right? It's about making that money. It's likely now, just by process of elimination, that it will be Sean Porter versus Manny Pacquiao. Danny Garcia's got a fight. All the names that were linked have got fights. So Danny Garcia's now got a fight. He's got a fight in January. Obviously, Mikey Garcia, this one. Errol Spence is out until the summer. It's not going to be Terence Crawford. Only Sean Porter really left. I know people might say, what about Keith Thurman, the rematch? Keith Thurman ain't getting that fight. So maybe Sean Porter. And that's a result, right? If you can get the Manny Pacquiao lottery ticket after coming off a loss to Errol Spence, even though it was a great fight, still a loss, fantastic. He's probably going to earn more fighting Manny Pacquiao than he did fighting Errol Spence. So good on Sean Porter. I love Sean Porter, so I'm happy that if it is the case, we don't know, but if it is the case, I'm very happy for him. All right, this is so random, and I'm going to do a separate video about it because it's random and it also pisses me off. Danny Williams, people. Danny fucking Williams. Not only is he still fighting, but Danny Williams, sorry. Those of you that are maybe young or don't know who Danny Williams is, former British heavyweight champion, put Mike Tyson in his ass many, many years ago. Should have retired. Probably should have called it quits after he lost to Derek Chisora in 2012, I'm going to say. 30 fights later, 3-0, maybe even more, he was supposed to have a fight against, I can't remember the guy's name, for like a German heavyweight title or something on the weekend. The guy was gloved in the ring. They called Danny Williams' name to come out. Danny Williams started walking to the ring in street clothes. Random. Started walking to the ring and then took to the mic to say, you know, he got injured and unfortunately they couldn't fight. I have no idea how his opponent didn't know that and why his opponent was dressed ready to fight. Very, very stupid. I'm not quite sure if it was supposed to headline a card or something, but Danny Williams is still fighting. I mean, talk about brain fucking damage. I don't know what is going on, but he's still fighting. AJ has said a few things this week. I've done a separate video on it, but AJ has called for the unification clash or unification fight. People have sort of asked the question whether or not it can happen. It certainly can. I mean, it can happen. When it can happen. Look, to be honest, look, if all the teams are serious, this fight could happen in the summer. If Deontay Wilder beats Tyson Fury, so that means there will be no rematch in there, and AJ comes through Pulev, which is likely March or April, there's no reason these guys can't get it on in September. No reason whatsoever. I mean, yes, the WBO will be upset with regards to the Usyk situation, but you can vacate that belt if you want. Or, and I'm sure the WBO will be happy to do it, have your belt be part of what will be one of the biggest heavyweight fights of the last 20 years, right? Do it. So, I mean, if they really want to do it, they can do it. I just don't know if they are going to do it. Good fight, this one. It's been announced for a fight card in Miami, I think, in January. Tevin Farmer versus Jojo Diaz. That's a very, very good fight. Obviously, people have been screaming for Tevin Farmer to fight Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis has jumped up in weight. This is the next best thing. This is a great fight. And I don't know. I think Tevin Farmer is underrated. He's a good defensive fighter. He doesn't maybe have the punch. Diaz does. But Diaz didn't look great in his last fight. So we'll see, but it's a good fight. I don't know what fight is headlining this card. Demetrius Andrade fights on this card as well. I think it's like 3 or 4 title fights on this card. So it'll be interesting to see who headlines. But regardless, it's a good fight. Kell Brook. No, the video didn't pause. I just went silent. Kell Brook supposedly is back in February. Something's happened. Something's happened. I'm not, you know me and my conspiracy theories. Something has happened with Kell Brook. I'm not just having that he's been out the ring because he's been out the ring and couldn't get a fight. I'm sorry. People are already starting to speculate on social media. Was it a low-key ban? You know how it works nowadays. You don't know. I don't know. But for Kell Brook to be out of the ring for a fucking year, and it won't even be a year. By the time he fights in February, it'll be like 14 months. Something's gone on. Something's gone on. But yeah, we'll see who he fights back. You know, at this stage, it can't even be a case of, oh, we're going to give him a warm-up fight. Or no, he's got to go straight in the deep end. It's not a case of a warm-up fight. What is he, 33, 34? He's got to go straight in the deep end. Has to go straight in the deep end. It's unbelievable what's happened to Kell Brook. I was thinking, we just mentioned Sean Porter as an example. Kell Brook beat Sean Porter, right? So he beat him. You look at how their careers have gone since that. I mean, Sean Porter's took the fights. Win or loss, he's took the fights. Since then, Sean Porter's fought Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Ugas, obviously other names as well, Errol Spence, and he could get the Manny Pacquiao fight. All right, moving on. Clarissa Shields. There is a lot of talk about Clarissa Shields having a fight against Amanda Nunez. For those of you that don't know Amanda Nunez, she's an MMA fighter, probably the greatest female MMA fighter of all time. That tag was with Chris Cyborg. She knocked out Cyborg last year? Was it early this year? I can't remember. But there is a lot of talk about Clarissa Shields crossing over to mixed martial arts and having that fight. She can't really get a fight. She has got a fight against Ivana Habazin coming up. It's not that big a fight. And I'm a big fan of Ivana, but it's not that big a fight. She wants a big money fight. Nunez has said she would fight Clarissa Shields in a boxing match, but that she wants $1 million to do it. See her getting that money. But she said if Clarissa Shields wants to fight her, Clarissa Shields needs to go to her world. And that is obviously the world of MMA. And Clarissa Shields don't want to go there. She doesn't want to go there. But who knows? I mean, she's desperate for a fight. So who knows? All right. Last 3 or 4 bits here. I talked about this fight earlier, but Charlo versus Hogan done 275,000 views on Showtime. Boy. You know, there was a time when both Charlos were, I think, I actually thought they were going to be the next 2 biggest stars in boxing. Honestly, there was a time maybe back end of 2017, early 2018, where I thought, my God, these guys are going to take over. And I think Eddie Hearn was even trying to sign them with DAZN and offering them big money. Their drop-off, it's been something else. It's been something else. I mean, Al Heyman needs to come good with Jamal Charlo here. The other one, I always get them both mixed up, but the other Charlo's got Harrison. That's a must-win fight. He loses that, that's it, in terms of that kind of superstardom. But Charlo needs a big fight. I don't know if that big fight is Eubank Jr. Is that even a big fight in America? I doubt it. Al Heyman needs to do something for him, big time. All right, let's end on Canelo. I spoke to Mike Coppinger, name dropping again, Ade. I know. But I spoke to Mike Coppinger in Saudi Arabia, and he said that the 2 front runners for Canelo are Billy Joe Saunders and Callum Smith. Those are the 2 front runners. And I asked him for who is the front runner, and he mentioned Billy Joe Saunders. So Billy Joe Saunders could get that Canelo fight, which is interesting. Obviously, Billy Joe Saunders will have to travel and fight in America, but you would love to see Canelo fight over here. I don't know how possible it is. Probably impossible because of all the sign-ups Canelo does for DAZN. And obviously, it's got to be at a time in America which makes sense. But it does look like Billy Joe Saunders might get that fight, and I think the fight will be at 168. Again, interesting. Makes sense for Canelo. It makes sense. Either fight makes sense, especially if he's going to stay at 168, because he wants to get the legit belt. Remember, he has vacated that regular belt that he won from Rocky Fielding, and he does want a legit belt. Billy Joe Saunders has one. Callum Smith has one. So those are the 2 favourites. Not GGG, which is interesting. I do think GGG fight makes sense, especially at 168, but there isn't a belt on the line, sorry. Sorry, the postman just came. That put me off. But there isn't no belt on the line. But regardless, it still makes sense. And you would think that GGG equals more sign-ups for DAZN than Billy Joe Saunders or Callum Smith. But it does look like it will be Billy Joe. What do you guys make of that? Mike Coppinger is the man in the know, so I do take what he says. I wouldn't say it's gospel, but more than I know, right? He knows a lot more than we all know. So who knows? Interesting. Anyway, that's it. This week in boxing. Part we don't know. Peace.